Hey, want to see my mighty pirate scrapbook? It's filled with my adventures. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be a mighty pirate. That's me, Guybrush Threepwood. In the old days, you became a pirate by completing 3 trials to prove your worth. Treasure hunting is important for any pirate. The pirate leaders were in charge of the 3 trials, acting as judge, jury, executioner, and devoted grog tasters. The test of thievery involved breaking into the governor's mansion. The security was heavy. This is when I met Elaine, the love of my life. She was governor at the time. Mastering sword fighting was more a matter of wits than agility. Things took an unexpected turn while I was working on the 3 trials. Elaine was kidnapped and taken to Monkey Island by the nefarious ghost pirate LeChuck. I scraped together a crew. Carla, Otis, and Meathook joined me on my voyage to Monkey Island to save Elaine. LeChuck thought he was in love with Elaine. My first ship was the Sea Monkey. I bought it at Stan's used ships with a letter of credit that I, sort of falsified. Monkey Island was a steaming volcanic mystery, covered with jungle and not found on any map. On the island was a gigantic monkey head statue with hidden catacombs underneath. The monkey head opened with a special key that you stuck in its ear. I met an old castaway there, Herman Toothrot. He and the locals wrote a lot of indignant letters to each other. There were some people living there who claimed to be cannibals, but I think it was just a show for the tourists. You had to brew a special potion just to find Monkey Island. I made some substitutions, but it got us there just the same. LeChuck's ghostly ship was anchored in a lake of lava hidden beneath the island's surface. We wound up back on Melee Island for the stunning conclusion to my first big adventure. I made it to the church just in time to stop the wedding. Or so I thought. It turned out Elaine already had everything under control. How does she do that? By then, I had learned that ghosts like LeChuck are vulnerable to root beer. Just trust me, it works, okay? I defeated LeChuck and he basically exploded. It was the beginning of something magical. These are from the time I went to find the treasure of Big Whoop. I met my good friend Wally, who makes maps, and I stole his monocle. Good times. I met my good friend Wally. The map to the treasure had been torn into 4 pieces, which, let's face it, is about as piratey as it gets. Elaine always seems to know when I need her. The mysterious voodoo lady at the International House of Mojo taught me to make a voodoo doll, which came in handy more than once. Again, it came down to just me and LeChuck at the end. He was using magic, but then, so was I. One time, Elaine got turned into a statue. Well, LeChuck was behind it, of course. That guy never gives up. The fact that he turned her into a statue tells me LeChuck doesn't really love Elaine. He thinks of her as furniture. I got eaten by a snake. I erupted a volcano on purpose. There's not a lot I wouldn't do for Elaine. I got buried alive. It was around this time that I met Murray, the allegedly all-powerful demonic skull, after a rousing sea battle. Things backfired on LeChuck because Elaine and I got married when it was all over. Game, set, matchmaker. This was a great day. Though in retrospect, we shouldn't have had the scumbar handle the catering. Elaine and me together forever. The daggers are symbolic of cutting through troubles, I think. It's either Elaine's wedding veil or my handkerchief. We got them to match. This is the daisy we stomped on together. Wedding traditions are weird. I wrote a great haiku for the wedding invitation. I don't know why you have to have candy-coated almonds at a wedding, but apparently you do. Oh man, this was that crazy time LeChuck teamed up with an Australian billionaire and tried to use a mystical talisman to make Elaine his bride. The ultimate insult wasn't really ultimate, or even an insult at all. Or was it? Everything started because they thought Elaine was dead, so they held an election to replace her. LeChuck and I battled it out on a grand scale that time. I made a goofy monster out of prosthetic body parts. It didn't help with anything, but I had fun doing it. Then there was the time I accidentally let loose LeChuck's pox over the entire Caribbean. Or so it seemed. I had to wear a hook for a while. It came in handy. Elaine wasn't fooled by LeChuck's human form any more than I was. I should have trusted her more. I went on trial for my life on 4 separate charges. I defended myself, of course. The death card doesn't usually represent literal physical death, except when it does. Morgan Le Fay betrayed me, even after we bonded inside a giant manatee. I should have trusted her less. Love did win out in the end. Oh, here's that voodoo doll from the end of my Big Whoop adventure. I defeated LeChuck with this. His leg came off as easy as tearing a loaf of bread.
Chuck! No! Guybrush, come over here. Gently now. Remove my mask.
Will you promise to stop picking on me?
All right, I promise. Anything. Just put my leg back on.
Hey, you kids. You're not supposed to be in here.
What's next?
Let's goof on those two. Pretend they're our parents.
Yeah! Sorry we ran off. You were probably worried about murderers and ne'er-do-wells.
Don't worry, I found him.
Come on, let's go.
Let's pretend I have powers that make lightning come out of my eyes.
It's so lifelike.
I wonder if it's real. Sorry, boys, could you stop following us? It's creepy.
Yes, sir. Come on, I saw a scurvy dog shack back there.
Scurvy dogs. I've never had one of those.
No way, you have to try one. It's the best thing you'll ever eat in your life. No fooling.
Wow. Wakey, wakey, Mr. Pirate. Hello? Boo!
Ha! He's dead to the world.
Sounds real. Those glasses are thicker than the layer of grease on the floor.
You kids better have money.
Yeah. We've got all kinds of money. Can we get a couple of scurvy dogs?
Sure. If you give me a piece of 8, that's money that grown-ups use.
I know what a piece of 8 is.
Good for you. You can have a couple of dogs if you give me one.
Please? Can't you spare something for a couple of hungry kids?
Listen up, you little moocher. Let me tell you something. I don't see that well. For all I know, you could be some really short 30-year-old guy trying to take advantage of my disability. In which case, shame on you. You should know better. And if you really are kids, then I have to tell you, I don't like kids. Don't like talking to them. Don't like listening to them. Don't like to smell them. You come in here, make fun of me, sneeze on the food, spill stuff on the floor, and leave without buying anything. I'd rather have rats.
I've got good news for you then.
I'm an honest businessman trying to make an honest living. I don't need 50 kids a day coming in and wasting my time trying to get me to give them free food.
I guess never mind.
Hey, I know. Let's look for change in the outhouse across the way. Coins fall out of people's pockets when they sit down in there.
They put it on a leg to keep you from walking off with it. I'll bring this right back, sir.
You'd be wise to do that. I got the leg from the last kid who didn't bring back the key.
Hey, Chucky, stand over here for a minute.
Nah, I want to get scurvy dogs. Good, you unlocked it.
It isn't a piece of 8, but it's a round piece of metal about the same size and shape as a piece of 8.
That's called a slug. It's like a fake coin.
A fake coin is almost as good as a real coin.
I once got a...
I don't see any coins, and I'm not putting my hands in that. Please wash hands before leaving outhouse. I'm not touching that gunk. It seems more like something Chucky would do. Gross. Chucky, why don't you look in the toilet?
No way. You do it.
Okay. Huh. Gross. Hey, look! I'm returning the key.
You want a medal?
Some places you go have scurvy dogs with cheese inside.
What can we get with this?
Tastes like a piece of 8. Enough for a couple of scurvy dogs if you want.
Perfect!
Take 'em, boy.
What are you getting?
What?
Just kidding. Here's yours. I'm having these for breakfast, lunch, and dinner forever. What do you want to do now?
I don't know. What do you want to do? That's my friend Dee. Hey, Dee.
Hey, Chucky, what are you jerk faces up to?
We just got here.
I'm making a list of stuff to do.
Give me that. I'm an expert planner. There. Perfect. See you around the park, shitheads.
That's a cool anchor.
That just shows how little you know about anchors. This one's not a very good example. You'd know that if you read as much about anchors as I have. Did you know that anchors originally weren't designed to hold ships in place? They were used in combat, shot from cannons as a grapple when you were trying to board another ship. They started making them bigger and bigger because they would do more damage that way. Then, people noticed what happened when you missed the other ship and hit the sea bottom instead. The current bow-shaped design is actually less effective than the sharper V-shaped design that was popular last century. But the older design went out of fashion after sailors started to think the letter V was bad luck. You can still find the old kind around sometimes, but collectors have grabbed most of them. On a modern anchor, if you look close, you can tell that one side is a little larger than the other. That's to prevent what's called plummeting, where the anchor goes down too evenly and then it doesn't catch well on the bottom. The little flanges at the tips are at different angles to make it twist on the way down for the same reason. Most anchors these days are made of iron, and you have to recast them like twice a year because they rust. About 30 years ago, somebody thought of a way to get around that by making them out of wood instead. All kinds of people invested a lot of money in these wooden anchor companies. But the only way they could keep them from floating was to attach another anchor. And so they gave up and went back to the old way. The word anchor comes from the Sanskrit word nagara, meaning city. They're called that because when you stop in the middle of the ocean, it's like you've made port at an invisible city. Yeah, I'm kind of an expert on anchors. I read a lot.
Chucky. Want a race?
You're on.
I'll officiate. 3, 2, 1, go!
I win!
I once had the hiccups for 4 days straight.
Don't feed the duck. I want to feed the duck. I wonder what's in that basket.
Let's find out.
What do you think you're doing? Kids these days. You have no regard for personal...
Gotta run!
How rude.
Did you know you can keep a scurvy dog warm by sticking it in your armpit?
What's this red glob on the ground?
That's ketchup. It's supposed to be really good with scurvy dogs. You're not gonna touch the ground with your scurvy dog.
No, of course not. Gross.
You should put that on your scurvy dog. In France, they call a scurvy dog a chien scorbut. Let's be frank, you can never hope to beat me.
No way! You'll never catch up to my level.
I win!
I win!
You guys are both pretty weak.
Well, anyway, that was fun.
Your sword is as sharp as a banana.
I'll still tear you down to size.
I for sure won that one.
In your dreams?
You fight like kids.
You're about as scary as a bowl of oatmeal.
I'll be sure to break you fast.
I'm so the best at this.
Almost as good as me.
I've seen better footwork from a footstool.
You fight like a doofus.
Yeah, like a doofus, who's an amazing fighter, you mean?
Okay, that was a good comeback.
I know.
You guys give new meaning to the term practice dummy.
Let's look for a four-leaf clover.
Okay.
Good luck with that.
I found one.
Awesome.
There was still one left? Darn.
I wish for another scurvy dog.
Those things are bad for you. Told you so.
Hey, Dad.
Hello, Mr. Threepwood.
Hey, kids. Having fun?
Yeah.
We got scurvy dogs.
Those have toenails and stuff in them. Ugh, I read about it.
And we were playing your adventures. We just did Big Whoop.
Big whoop. Oh, boy. That takes me back.
I like it when Chucky asked me to put his leg back on. He says it really funny.
You guys always make up the craziest stuff for the ending of that story.
It's fun.
But you can't just change it around. That's not how storytelling works.
A lot of your stories don't feel like they're finished at the end.
What do you mean?
Well, like, there's this one that you call The Secret of Monkey Island, where you went to Monkey Island and fought LeChuck.
Oh, that story has a great ending. There's punching and fireworks. I thought you liked that one.
But you never did find the secret. Not the real one.
Sure, but that's not what that story was about. Kids, let me tell you a story that is about finding the secret of Monkey Island.
Is this a long story?
I think maybe I gotta go use the bathroom or something.
Yeah, I have to go walk my tarantula.
Maybe I should go with them.
No, stick around. This is a good one. See, there was a rumor going around that my old nemesis, LeChuck, had somehow discovered the exact location of the secret of Monkey Island. I knew I had to get it before he did, so I went to Melee to get my own expedition started and beat him to the punch.